What up, Yasharel? My head is bowed to all the princes of Yasharel. Okay, so I told you guys I was gonna, with this, we're gonna call it what it is. It's premeditated murder, but it's also a public sacrifice that this rapper did. So, I want to take you into the witchcraft so that you can understand it and you can see how they work it on you, okay, to get something that they are wanting. You understand? So, okay, I'm going to teach you the same way that y'all taught me, okay? And it was so simple that I could understand it, okay? You can tell I'm a little nervous about it. If you hear my cat in the background, she's going through it. She's in heat, and we're not having it. We're just not having it. So, you have to ignore that. Okay. First of all, let me do this. The witches are not real happy about what's being exposed, about what's coming out. And I'm going to tell you why it's coming out. So I went to Father and I brought the law. I brought Deuteronomy. So I just want to serve this warning to any witch that would think about sending something this way. I've heard other YouTubers say that things are just, funny around. Well, I'm not having that shit. I'm a Hebrew in covenant with the only true Elohim, the Elohim of Genesis, and his name is Yahuwah. Okay? We have laws over witches, especially if you try to put something on someone that's anointed or an ambassador of our kingdom and our government, an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. So if you even think of even trying that bullshit that you live over there on me, let me just serve you warning. In Deuteronomy, that's what I took to court. It's a law for us. And if you send something, I ask Father because you broke our laws and you're a witch. To not only, when you speak it, as soon as it hits the air, let it stop and come right back on you, full force, with everything you conjured to do back on you. But I ask Father for the law, that it have a 50-fold on it. That means you get back what you tried to put out wickedly. It's called mischief also, under our laws. Plus the 50-fold for even thinking about doing it to something that belongs to him today. This witchcraft that y'all do is not going to work like it used to anymore. And if you were in the Old Testament, my father's books, you would understand what you're seeing. That's why nothing's working for you anymore, because your time is up. This shit has been going on for generations. It is exactly what was in Egypt. It's exactly what he pulled us out of, and then they tried to go back into it when Moshe was up with Yahuwah writing out the laws on sapphire tablets. And they would have done a sacrifice had Yah not sent them down that mountain. This is nothing different. This is exactly what you're seeing. It's just a little bit more wicked today. Like y'all said, this is a twisted and perverted generation. You better believe it is, after what we just saw. So, let me go back to mine. I want you to think about that before you think about sending anything out. I've heard people say the most dangerous thing is a Christian that's obeying those 10 commandments. It's a true Christian. No, I would say that everybody's waking up to the most powerful thing and most lethal weapon is Yahuwah's people that are back on that covenant, protecting it and guarding it, back with our Elohim, trusting him and him alone. We have one Elohim, and the world has many. So I want you to know about that law, and y'all would never let you it wouldn't even take flight 5 feet from you. It would just be right in your forehead, popping the shit out of you, because that's our law. We don't go by the heathen's law. So let me go back, and I just wanted you to serve that notice. It was number 1 on my paper. You know, I pray to him before I come on here, and then I pray to him and go and ask him to cover it for me by the law. And it just shows him that I know the law and how to approach him. So, all right, let's get started. So they don't like that this stuff's being exposed. Okay? Witchcraft, let me tell you something. Witchcraft is a very powerful thing. Not a lot of people believe it's even real, but it is. It absolutely is. You can have a doll in your house, and it alone will infest your house with nothing but unclean spirits and demons, because that's where Yah sends that stuff to people that do that stuff. He uses them. And yes, they're harmful. They're very harmful. They're powerful, and they're wicked. I've heard women on YouTube talk about her children that had dolls, and they would go in the room and they would see them. It's because it's an idol. And unclean spirits are attracted to that. So let me get back on point. I just wanted to explain that to you. You have idols in your house, and that's probably what's attracting a lot of this stuff. And that's exactly what Christianity is. It's rooms, idols, statues, figurines, dolls. Do you understand? And they do numbers by they do their rituals by numbers. Okay? Now, I told you that witchcraft is my father created it. You understand? To destroy them. Because your heart's going to tell what you love, and he knows the heart. He's the only one that does. But it is very, very powerful, and that is why it's the forbidden knowledge. It is the exact thing that Moshe went up against with Aaron when they went up against Pharaoh. Remember the staff? And they threw, and it's illusion. It's just illusion. And I'm going to explain that to you, but let's go this way. When Father took me in there, he showed me the staff. And when they came out with all their sliver and snakes, he threw his staff down, and it turned into what, from what it was written, it was a big snake, and it swallowed up all of them. Father created that stuff, and he's the one that has control on it. That's why I was telling you, don't let that shit in your life. Anybody does it, push them away, because it's powerful and it follows them everywhere. And it's going to stay where it can. So, they go by numbers, okay? I don't want to get ahead of myself, because I'm really nervous about telling you about this anyway. To make sure I do a good job, that's all. Okay, I told you it was the same witchcraft that Moshe came up against. Okay. These witches today, they go by numerals. Because that's what everything was in numbers. Like we have 7 days. And we don't have names of the week. We don't have names of the month. We don't have any of these holidays. We don't have any of that stuff. That's not ours. Ours went by numbers. Well, see, that's what they do. And these witches get these dates and these numbers, and when they go to run this thing, it has to be done exactly how it was written it was supposed to be done. Now I'm sorry, that's just what it is. It is meticulous. Now let me explain something to you. I came to you and I told you what an illusion was. And when I went in there and I looked at his video, I can understand why Yah is busting this stuff out, because he was so freaking blatant to put it out. With the Halloween and all that, that is a wicked ass holiday. That is a wicked ass holiday. And to put that out on the day of Halloween, and then there was a time for the blood to be spilt. Now remember, they have to do this meticulously, by the number, by the time, by the date. where there's some things in there. He left a lot of clues in that video. I'm gonna tell you what, I was blown away. I had to cut the damn thing off and walk around the house. I had to process it and talk to y'all. I was like, I cannot believe this is right here, and then it just happened over here. But y'all woke everybody up to it. Okay? So what happened? Well, if you go in there, I told you a lot of the stuff that is in there, but like the numbers, and when they show you a clock, like he's in an elevator, and there's a time clock on the bottom of it, okay, and I mean, my head is bowed to all the princes that are putting this out. I mean, they are breaking this stuff down, but I had already went in there when y'all told me to, when I came to you guys about Kanye, and then that happened, and I was on it. The times that they have on there, it's for the other witches. That's just what I'm going to say. They're not fucking elite. They're other witches, higher witches. It tells them what time is that this ritual and this blood sacrifice is going to go on as planned, as it was supposed to do, as they said, as the contract said. Well, on one of the let me go to that. On the clock it said 2:39, but the 911 calls were coming in at 2:30. Now, if the 911 calls were coming in at 2:30, then right there you have eight minutes that you're early, right there. And his blood then again had to be shed right before that 8 minutes. That means it was way off of what it should have been. Now, I don't mess around in gematria. I don't do none of that shit. I don't dabble in it. I don't look at it. I don't allow myself or my tribe, my family to be around it. I warn them of it, and we all veer it off because it's dangerous. Well, Yah is exposing that stuff today to wake you up to not only this government, but this industry and every branch of it. It's Gog. So, when you spill that blood, you can go into our books. Our blood is our life source. And when that blood was spilt at the wrong time, it broke the spell. It wasn't acceptable. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm not going too fast. So if it's unacceptable, and they made a mistake. And I think that, these are young boys. They don't have any respect for that shit. They just want what they want. And even Takeoff threw up the devil's horns hours before it was, and all through the night. When you do that shit, you're giving yourself to it. You think that's not powerful, but that is. First of all, it tells them who you serve and who you worship, which would be Baphomet. Cancel that out in Yahuwah's name. It's not saying it's Baphomet and all these false fucking gods they got that are statues. You understand? It's the same time as in Abraham's day, with his brother making them and selling them. So, Father, please keep me on course. Please. I'm just trying to explain it so they can understand it. Please keep me on course. Oh, and here's something else. What did they have around their neck the whole night? Not just the Baphomet horns, which would be the goat horns that they put up. I'm not going to do it. You know what it is. What about the chains that they had on with the idols hanging off of it? That would be Edom's false god, which is an idol. It's also the abomination that Edom raised up that is going to bring like desolation. I've been telling you about it. They had it around their neck. That's a yoke. It's a false god that cannot save them. Especially dabbling around in that because you put yourself into it. We're never supposed to know that shit. So they're saying that they belong to it. And they fucked it up. They got sloppy, very messy. And not just the way that this young prince went out, but it was sloppy. But because of the curse, listen, because the whole ritual didn't go right and didn't go smooth as it did in that thing in the video, it caused the illusion It caused the spell to come back on them with all the demons that they conjured. Like I was telling you guys, so whatever you conjure, you witches last days, you are going to get it back on your head. I'm going to make it stop and turn right back and hit you in the forehead and wreck your whole life and your body. He hates them. He hates them because this is the shit that they do. So now, you fucked up a ritual that you thought was just by minutes. And all this stuff is turning back on them, and that is exactly why this veil has been ripped. And you are looking at this, you have to look at it and swallow it for what it is. No more questioning it. All the fucking evidence is there that you need. And if you can't find it on your own, you reach for me. I'll send that shit to you. Because I don't come on here unless I finish what he tells me to study, and then he says, let's go, and I'm ready. I know what I'm talking about. So this shit is coming back on them. Ooh, not only them, but everybody that was involved in it. Ooh, you take down the whole house. All of it. Quite possibly even the police department. And in that video, another thing, I was looking at it again, and I'm trying to think of his name. I post his videos, so just go whenever he has a live. I put it up there because y'all's dealing with him, working with him, and he breaks that stuff down to where you can understand it in reality to what's going on. And then I'm going to bring the spiritual side of that stuff and what it brings. So, a sacrifice has gone completely wrong. And I told you how this is going to end. It's going to fold in on itself because it wasn't accepted. And they fucked around with witchcraft that they didn't know that much about. Like when I told you that y'all let me see that, like when he was coming out, just go to my wall. He's the only one I post up there for his shows. And I'll make sure that I put his name in the description. And, okay, wait a minute. He was coming out. And when he was walking behind Takeoff, and he was looking at his hands, and he was trying to shake it off. That was the blood of his own nephew, his own blood. It's all the way through the video. It's insane. His outfit that he had on, the dark gray hands that were like this. And at first I thought they were like those scary movies that my brothers and sisters used to watch, where the hand was coming out of the grave. That's not what it was. Y'all said his hands are dirty. They're dirty of innocent blood. But Takeoff put himself there. Therefore, he put him in harm's way. Under an idol. And when I'm going to tell you something y'all gave me today. We're just going to take this nice and easy. I'm going to give you everything that puts on my heart to say to you. It's like when I flashed back to when I was in Christianity, when I was born into it. And you know how they said that they are catchers of men? You damn straight they are. And they'll get a net. They'll get you caught in the net, that fowler's net. They'll get you caught in it, and you'll be destroyed there. Just like you see these celebrities. They're not wearing nothing else but that fake Edom Rome white idol. And it did indeed cause desolation. Yah has brought this thing out. You can't help but not look at it and see everything that all of us are trying to tell you. So, and then you see Quavo running his ass up out there after he gave the code word. And his nephew takes 3 shots. One of them is to the head, execution style. But the blood's no good. The messy's no good. Because they fucked it up. And that is why Yah is in every fucking direct. That's why they haven't come out. Because see, this time it did not go like it was supposed to go with all the other rappers that have died in Houston. And I was going to say, in that video, he had that H ring on. That's Houston. Nobody's stupid. I'm just blown away. It would have to be Yah. Because he said, last days, I'm going to direct the hearts of men. And I'm going to have my way over this earth. And I am going to be the only Elohim that his name is spoken. And they're going to see it with their own eyes. And, I mean, who else could do this? To where just expose it. And, I mean, you are looking at it full force. And there's just no denying what the fuck you're seeing. I was so tired of looking at the video, but I just felt him nudging me, and I was just blown away, but I was sickened by it. And like I said, he had the big ass chains on his arm and his neck, and they put like the jewel. How do you even know those jewels are real? How do you know that? All of it is just fakery, illusion, and he's forcing the people. It's all over. I'm pretty sure it's all over Earth. It's a pretty hot topic. But he's forcing the people of the United States, and especially our people, to look at what this really is in reality, and the wickedness that's behind it, by killing their own family member for this shit and setting him up. I mean, listen. I'm sure he hugged Takeoff, gave him daps. Oh, bro, I love you so much. Wasn't that exactly what fucking Judas did? He walked up, supposedly. But it's something to think about. And hugged him and kissed him on his face. That's exactly what that fucking shit is over there. It's all witchery. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. And Yah is breaking every fucking branch off this trunk in America, and he's gonna cut it to a damn stump to where it'll never grow again. Those are his words. In the book of Jeremiah, I was talking to our women and the princes of Yehuda about worshiping the Queen of Heaven. And he said, we will not stop worshiping the Queen of Heaven. And y'all said, okay, well, I'm going to curse you, and you're going to be bald. And when you try to fix that shit, I'm going to make it rot and infect your scalp, because it's a curse. You're not going to get rid of it later on down the line when they make hair for you. And your men are going to die in battles, and you're going to have a hard time holding on to your men. Is that not what you're seeing? Exactly, because the curse has never been lifted. Well, let me ask you a question. Ouch. Let me ask you a question. The Queen of Heaven, I've got my video up there. Yah's telling you who she is. But to break that down for you, who is the Queen of Heaven in Jeremiah? She's Mary. The mother of the JC, which isn't really JC. Go to the book of Ezekiel. Yah tells you who it is, and I made a video on it. It's an Egyptian sun worship. And he hates her with a passion. Because they were worshiping her. Here's something else. And you got to remember, they fucked this shit up. So what I'm getting ready to bring you, you already know about Halloween. So when they fucked this ritual up and spilt the blood, that's now worthless. It's not going to do shit. It was somebody's birthday. A birthday is a demonic gathering. It's a mass. That's why they call that Catholic stuff over there a mass, because there's a mass of people. And when you call them to your house and you build that, you bake that a cake or go buy it, that's round with the candles on it, that's worshiping the Queen of Heaven. They're Mary. And that shit will fuck you up. Because I'm going to tell you what, Halloween, and then you got a birthday on it, you saw exactly what the fuck was going to happen. And you got to think about this. Quavo was the producer of that damn video. The producer. And I'm going to tell you what, when they do put the spell on it, it doesn't work on us out here because y'all's got us awake, but it does work on the public. It has worked on the public. He was the producer of that video. So imagine how powerful that spell is to make you go out and give to their foundations that they're going to show enough raise up in that name. And he took this brother's life. Yes, he was in it. Yes, he was responsible for self. But it was still innocent blood. And we know what Ezekiel 18 says. Don't spill innocent blood for the wicked. And that's what the fuck they did. But it was like all off time. So it not only is it not powerful and void to them, now it's coming back and biting the back of their fucking heads. They're trying to hide from that shit because the public's not going to have sympathy for killing your fucking brother, dude. You're supposed to be somebody we can look up to. This is all fakery. And once that fucking illusion is broken, the spell is too. But they broke that shit themselves by thinking this was some kind of fucking game that you play games in. And this is not a game. This is not a game. This is not a club. This is witchcraft. And our Elohim is over that shit. And whatever he set into law to happen for playing with that shit, that's in the law. And you saw exactly what happened. What happened? He was killed. He went home in a body bag. You know something? And his blood was worthless. It was worthless. They can't come out. Because like y'all said, I'm going to cover you in your own confusion. And they're covered in their own confusion. And they're wearing robes of shame. And they're behind walls where they can't be seen. But he had blatant arrogance, and so did his masters, Gog. To put that shit out right in your face, and then it just happened. I'm just like... But then I think about Mo 3, and he made that video because y'all took me in there to study that, but he never told me to make a video. Just I file it and keep it on moving. He made that video where he got shot up and he was laying on that morgue table where the mortician was saying, y'all be home in a minute. And then, talking to her daughter, yes, I got one more to do, I'll be home in a minute. And then he pulls the blanket back, he's got all those fucking bullet holes in him. And then, right after that, it fucking happens. We see that's a ritual now. And that's how you can recognize this shit. And not give your money to it when they try to raise up foundations. We're going to do this, remember, fuck that shit. You should have remembered him when he was here. He should have meant something when he was here. But that's what that is. It's Christianity. It's false religion. All of them. They all do the same damn thing. Don't be tricked by it. And don't be involved in it. So you got all this fucking witchcraft going on. And all the cards fucking against them. They just fucked this shit up so bad I can't even, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by it. It's interesting, but it also makes my stomach hurt. This is what y'all said he was going to do. He said, I don't care how much blood you spill on anything. I'm going to bring this to the forefront. And they're going to see what you do. And you're seeing it not only in this government, because they serve the same fucking gods. They do the same shit behind closed doors. But I'm just blown away that he just put that video out. I mean, you couldn't have been more fucking plainer. You couldn't have, I mean, to me, it's like a fucking confession. A fucking confession. Premeditated murder. And on top of that, a sacrifice, a human sacrifice. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was mankind. But he was still sacrificed. And he gave himself to it. You see how twisted this shit is? I sit and marinate on it, and I wait for Father to say something, to pull me out of there and say, hey, come this way, let you see it? Yeah, oh. It is just mind-boggling. And there's so many involved in the fucking shit you wouldn't believe it. And y'all's bringing that out. He let them fuck up. Made them fuck up so that this could come out. And you can see it for what it really is. And come on up out of there. Right out of Rome. This shit is so dangerous, it's unbelievable. And like, if you're over there, you're damn straight you're living by the grace, because it's Yahuwah's grace that you're still there. Because if you believe in that shit, if you serve that shit, if you're part of that shit, if you love that shit, you can be sacrificed because you belong to it. That's Yah's law. We live by these laws that he set for us. And they crush their laws in the spirit, in reality, carnal. I mean, they have blown so much smoke up everybody's ass. And I'm going to tell you what. Like, some of the things that I saw in the video made my skin. It made me want to cry. But I have to remember that they put themselves into it. And we already know that a lot of the celebrated slaves have said that they tamper with their mind. It could have been programmed to it, but I don't think so. I think I just really believe that he wanted something, and he was willing to give up something that he loved for the sacrifice, and he fucked it up, and he's not getting shit. Now he's hiding because the people don't look at him anymore. They're not going to worship him. Remember O.J. Simpson? Thank you, Father. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Remember O.J. Simpson? It's going to be worse for him. Because I told you, when he was like, the part where he was doing his hands and going like this and trying to shake off the blood, and Takeoff was right in front of him. But also, like, he was getting caught up in like something was tormenting him towards the end of the video. Something was tormenting him, and that's what these spirits are going to do. Let me get to the next page. Hold on. Now, let me tell you about those. Wow, I forgot all about that, Father. Okay, you remember what I said to the witches in the beginning of it, that there's a fold, and y'all will make sure you can depend on it coming. Well, like I told you, this backfired on them, came right back on their head and in their lap. And the blood was spilt. And so the demons and the spirits that they tried to send out there comes back on them. And I'm not really sure what the fold is on a sacrifice of a person. We'll just go that route because I don't want to get into the other field. I don't want to get into that mankind style of a person. So I'm quite sure that there would be a fold on that, on tormenting demons as well. So, because I've studied what's going on behind closed doors for all these motherfuckers. What is going on? I'm going to be real with you. You came in here, you parked your car here. I'm just going to be real with you. What is going on while all of these witches involved in this man's killing behind closed doors right now? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on. First of all, they're being tormented by demons. They are covered in their own confusion on what in the fuck are we going to do about this? How do we clean this? There's no way you can. So their mind is just tormented. What comes with that? Anxiety. Fear of the unknown that's going to come to you, not only for fucking this up, but from your masters up there. To let this shit go out there. That's why I said I think he was a sacrifice too, right now. Because he's not going to have the following that he had. Y'all's going to make sure it's stomped all out. People they're not accepting what they saw. And it was clearing right before their eyes. Y'all made sure that it was right before your fucking eyes, and we were all out there telling you, hey, tormenting him. That's when he was awake. Oh, I guarantee you he's not eating. He's not eating. because he's scared of his masters. We know they are. And this was also would have been used to keep the other ones in line. You can be sacrificed at any moment. Hey, you can be sacrificed at any moment. So it could have been to keep the other ones, the other slaves, in line. And we're going to do it in the public side, but that shit failed. It failed. And it came back on them. Now, first thing you do when you're not feeling really good, something's bothering you, try to sleep. You try to go to sleep. That's not going to work either, because those same fucking demons and spirits will attack you and chase you and torment you in your sleep. And I guarantee you they all have it, especially Quavo. I could even see Father taking an unclean spirit, a knowing demon that has knowledge, make him look just like the life that he took and torment him with it in a hallway. You open that shit up. That's what this stuff is. It's not a toy, and it's very dangerous to touch. I could see him tormenting him with who he thinks is Takeoff, because he unleashed it. They all did. And their life is in severe damage, because y'all said, last days, everything you conjure and everything you give out, I'm going to bring it back on your head. The only thing that conjures is a fucking witch. And they've been doing it for generations. When did y'all say this shit was going to stop? And it was going to be exposed, just like he's exposed everything. When we woke up, that's when their time was over. That's why nothing's working for them today like it used to. That is what that false religion was. And I can talk about it. I was born and raised in it. And when I found out what the fuck that shit was, everything went to the fucking garbage. And I turned my feet towards Yahuwah and what he expected of me and his laws. And that's where we stayed. And that's where we're blessed. That is some scary shit over there. And so they're tormented behind the walls, because that's what they bought. Because that's what demons do. That's why, you know what? Have you ever noticed that they're the only ones that have a problem with unclean spirits, demons, principalities, darkness? We don't have none of that shit over here. Nothing's even thinking about coming to us like that. Why is it so drawn to you? How come every time one of our princes fall, they're in that religion? And they're saying that they're in that religion because of wearing it around their neck. That's the yoke. Did you ever think about that? And they've been hiding it with all these fucking illusions. And they're behind doors. Most of us, they do put them out front, but they're just a little bit more hidden than this. But he fucked this whole thing up, so I can understand why it's out there, and everybody wants major mini arrests. Everybody, that's Yah. All the other ones they got away with, not this one. And I mean, Yah has the whole world on it. I have a lot of friends from over there. And they do leave me messages, and they do hit my stuff. It's over there. And where the fuck's Quavo and all the rest of them at? They're covered with their own confusion, wearing their robe. Wearing their shame like a robe. Because Yah, I think Yah was repulsed by watching it all the way through, because he can hear the plans of the enemies. He saw exactly what they were going to do. Could he do anything? No. Because Takeoff chose it too. He may not have wanted it once he saw it, but he didn't denounce it either, didn't remove himself from it. He was still flying their false gods, hand signals and shit, right before he died. That's the toughest part of it. Swallowing this shit. Is seeing that they put themselves there. for gain. And they've gained nothing. Nothing. Now, when I tell you that it's going to be exposed deep, I mean that shit. Okay. So this is the other thing I want to cover with you. I got a message that it was a question. And I was so absolutely moved by it. And I promised her that I'll put it in this video. She asked me if the celebrities, even after all that they've done, will Yahuwah forgive them and get them out? Will he save them? Is it for them too? Our brothers in there, like Chris Brown, any of them that are in there. And you remember when Chris Brown said, he said, if any of you, he said, I'm so sick of the devil. He said, if any of you guys had to live my life, he said, you would blow your fucking brains out. You would. He's not lying to you. You fucking would. Because we weren't made for that shit. That's Edom's bullshit. Cain. Gog. Can they be saved out of it? And I knew immediately what the law said. And the answer is yes. They can be saved out of it. You know how? I'm going to prove it to you. Yahuwah said, the first one that's the best one to go to is Ezekiel 18. Because it said that when a wicked man hears the truth and understands it and knows who he is, he said, and turns from his wickedness and turns his feet to him, to the law, to righteousness, he said, I will save him. If the ones that know my name call my name, Yahuwah, I will save them. But if a man doesn't turn from his wickedness and what he has learned, when you bring them the message, this is for us too who teach, bring you what y'all said. If you tell them and they still keep their feet to the wickedness, they still stay a part of it, their blood will not be accounted on your hands because you told them. But if a righteous man, but if a wicked man turns from that wickedness, I will forgive him. And I will be his Elohim. It's right there in Ezekiel 18. And I want to bring you another one. In the book of Jeremiah, and I made a video on it. My son read in it. Yah said, I'm just going to tell you what he said, and then you can judge for yourself. He said that when I saw you, he even saw us when we were born, and when I saw you, you were naked, you were covered in blood, you were hungry, and nobody had compassion for you. Nobody even looked on you. But I had compassion on you. And I picked you up. And I said, live. Yea, live. And I cleaned you up. I cleaned you all up. That means to take out all that. And then he taught us the law. And I made everything right again. And you can never go back to that. So yes, they can be saved. Is there going to be a penalty? Well, he said that he'll forgive our sins. We have the Day of Atonement. And once we are on that Day of Atonement, after we celebrate that feast day, all of our sins for that year is forgiven until the next one. And then whatever we did, we pay for we have the Day of Atonement, which is fasting, spending it with him. And then, it's a new slate that you did right after the Day of Atonement. So I would imagine, and y'all said, once I forgive you, I don't remember it anymore. You don't keep throwing it in your fucking face like those Christians did over there when I was coming in it, when you made a mistake. That's not y'all. He said, I don't remember it anymore. In other words, if you came to me and said, man, do you remember when I was in the industry? I did some of the, I can't forgive myself, but Father, do you remember when I was in the industry and I was doing those things? And y'all be like, I don't hold you accountable for it anymore. Because once he forgives you, that's when you start growing with him and what's righteous and going through the cycles of righteousness for his name's sake. You see? So yes, that was for everybody. That was for everybody. Especially Yasharel. And I was like, well, what about the clones? We know they're doing that. What if they're a clone? Well, first of all, they wouldn't seek you. They wouldn't call his name. They wouldn't call on his help. They wouldn't even know his name. Y'all said those that know my name. That would have to be those that he released his name to and brought the knowledge to him. So like Chris Brown, you know, I guess if he's still him, you know, all he has to do, like y'all said, call on my name and I'll save you from it. I'll pull you out. I'll give you a way of escape. I'll keep my promises to you and I'll be your Elohim. You got to leave all that shit behind and walk the fuck up out of there. All of it. Every fucking bit of it. And you're free. And then Yah teaches you his ways, our laws, and you walk in to the blessings of the covenant with our Father, of our blood, our Elohim, our birthright, Hebrew, Yasharel. We walk in to the very thing that they were trying to do all that wickedness to obtain. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? I hope I'm breaking this down really good. All you have to do is come home and be a son and obey the law. And how in the hell did Kanye West know that 400 years of slavery was a choice? Because that's exactly what Father said it was. It was a choice. You chose that. Like you do today. And it's nothing different. It's nothing different. It's just like it was in ancient days. Ain't nothing different. It's just got a veil on it called an illusion. And once you start seeing the reality of it, all that bullshit just starts coming back on it, because that was what it was designed to do. Because only wickedness would touch it. A black heart. And now it's coming back on him. For you to get a lesson from. And remove everything you love from it and keep it from it. And remove it from your house. Those, I have, you know, I'm with Father. If whatever your free will is, that's your free will. We don't try to come in on that, because he don't want everybody. Not everybody's got the heart of Father, because they weren't created in his image. We've talked about this. It's not meant for them to come in. That's why they only took 10 laws. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So this is what Rome has been doing for centuries. And now it's coming back to bite him on that ass. And I want to tell you something. I didn't even know this question had come to me that she asked about the celebrities. So I'm writing stuff down. I'm fixing peanut butter jelly sandwich. My grandbabies love those. And I was fixing them all special. And then I heard y'all speaking to me, write this down, write this down, write this down. And I was going to come in here and explain things to you. And I was just writing down what y'all said. And then he told me to go to my phone. I want you to go to your phone. And as soon as I turned it on, I flipped the thing. I had left it on Facebook feed. And so the videos were still rolling up. And this girl came, I posted it, you can go there and look at it. I don't know who she is, because I don't really mess around with that celebrity shit. I know what they are, and I'm not impressed with it, you know? I'm just not. And that's not where y'all has me going at, but he has me going there now. And I believe it's for this reason. But she was crying on this TikTok that she didn't know what she was getting into. And she wants out, and she's crying, and she says, I pray to God, you're praying to the wrong God. You're praying to a dead ear. And I left her a message. You call on the name of Yahuwah, and I'm telling you, he's never broke a promise. Never, never, never. He never broke a promise to me, ever. He's kept everything, and I see him still keeping it for our tribes. For the mighty house of Yasharel today, with the war and busting that ass out, he's just snapping every fucking branch and exposing it to you and saying, ripping down the veil and saying, look. Can be saved. So I go to my phone, I saw that, and I was like, Father, and I was already writing down stuff. I just never questioned him. I write it down because I just know that it's coming from him. I'm going to do it his way. And when it all pops together, I'm like, and then I found that message. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm like losing it. I even went and got my son and said, look at this. So yes, they can be saved, but they have to walk out of it. They have to leave everything of it behind. And you know something? I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to be honest. I think that if you gave all of them the opportunity to walk out, they would walk out. Because it's an illusion that they love this shit most of the time. Because what they have to do behind closed doors every day, like Chris Brown said, if you saw what I had to do every day to entertain Gog and make them money, you would blow your fucking brains out. That's what he said. And he was sobbing. And now he just looks sick all the time. And he looks run down and the life out of him, because that's what that shit does. It takes your life. That's what it does. And it's right there in your face. It's like Father's making you look at this and like you have to make a decision on which one you're going to serve. You're going to serve their fucking idols, or you're going to come over here to me where I can keep you safe when I go through there and destroy that shit. With my foot, I'm going to crush it, he said. I'm going to stomp it. I'm going to destroy it. Because of what we see. And it's like, you're like torn. You're like torn. You see this prince? And I had to go in there and study and watch him and listen to him talk and the way he thinks. And he's gone. And you feel that wrenching feeling in your like your heart and your stomach. And then you see him throwing up the same shit that they've trained him to do. And you know that's what that you put the curse on. And it's the very thing that you hate. So you're torn. And I believe Father is too. But they are all aware of the awakening. They all know it. They all know it. And this is witchcraft, and this is why we're not supposed to touch it. This is why we're not supposed to be into it. We're not supposed to be around anybody or in Edom using that shit. And you can have, even if you have like a figurine, say you love horses, and you got a figurine of a horse that's made out of beautiful glass. He's got a real pretty flower on him. He is just something. That is an idol. And Yah will give you over for that shit. His words. Deuteronomy. Just a little horse. But I was thinking about this today. You remember how Chris Brown used to come out and he used to say, well, what he said, and he just looks rough, you know? I used to say to myself, you know, if they ever got this and they used this, Yah would keep his word to him. He would keep him safe. He would give him a way of escape. And out of all the shit that they have had to go through, all the shit behind closed doors, even Cat Williams was talking about, we just know what's going on. Come on, let's stop running around the bush. Fuck it. All this bullshit, putting our princes in fucking dresses, making them turn to another man and enjoy that shit and promote it. I'm gonna tell you what. I think that Yah would have to give it to who he wants it to have. He would look at their heart. Because he said, those that know my name, he would have to give it to them. Because he said, last days, those that really cry out for me, those are the ones I'm going to give it to. And we know they're crying out because we know the truth right now. We know it all. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to tell you what. If I was in that shit and I was where I am right now with the knowledge of Yahuwah, I'm going to tell you what. You could go into one of their fucking rituals and stand the fuck up and say, I denounce this shit. I shut it the fuck down. You are no longer my Elohim. My Elohim is the Elohim of Genesis, and say his fucking name. Yahuwah! Say it with, deep, like you mean that shit. You would see every witch in that motherfucking place looking for their broom to fly the fuck up out of there, because there ain't no name that they fear but Yahuwah's name. We know that today. That's the secret. And he didn't send no son. It's just him. He said, I'm the only salvation coming, and I'm the only one that can save you out of what's coming. That he's sending, and we're watching him do it. This whole earth is on fire with people. Everything is just breaking the fuck apart. We can see it. He said, I'm your only salvation. But I'm going to tell you what, I sure as fuck would. I sure as fuck would. If I had to go through the pain that they went through, or your parent pushed you into that shit, I would announce that shit in the middle of their fucking ritual. Chase their fucking ass up out of there. Because they don't have any power. That's an illusion too. You only get power from Yahuwah. And I'm going to tell you something. All of our princes in the olden days, in the ancient days, through the 12 tribes, the 12 brothers, they knew where their power laid. And it was with Yahuwah. Because Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all of them taught the children. Shimshon, Samson taught the children. They never let them forget who they were, where they came from, what their story was. And it's just sickening. I think that he was killed. He was just killed. He will never have children. He will never have a wife. And his blood was for nothing. As messy as it was. Exactly the way they wanted it. And it meant nothing. Because it was carelessly done. They got slippery with it. And Yah's bringing it back on their head. And using them as an example. You get in this shit today, I'm going to destroy you with it. Because it's in our books, and it's in Jeremiah. I love that book. And he is not playing about this false religion with the Queen of Heaven. Or her fake-ass son. Because that didn't come from him. And now you're seeing that. Look at it like this. Look at it like this. Ooh. He had all that bling bling with their white Jesus, with rubies that represented the blood. And he had a cross on. So did Quavo. Where was that shit for Takeoff? Where was all the, I'm going to save you from that, you don't have to worry about that. Where was all that at? Where was it? He's dead. And they showed you who their gods were. And it's like y'all said, though they have a face, though they have eyes, a nose, and a mouth and ears, they cannot hear, they cannot see, they cannot smell. They cannot speak. They can't even save themselves. How can they save you? And you're seeing that they cannot. Y'all said none of them are going to deliver you out of my hand when I start this. And he wrote these books a long, long time ago. When I start this, they're not going to save you out of my hand. Those are his words. Jeremiah had me so scared I was going through my house, took all the idols, and we put them in a bag. And from my understanding, to destroy them was to put them in a bag. My son said, get the hammer, let's just bust the shit out of them. So that's what we did. Anything that looked cute, I don't care if it had any kind of sentimental if the kids made it for me, I didn't care. If it was an idol, it had to be fucking destroyed. And so we threw him in a bag, and they beat the hell out of him, broke him up into pieces, and we threw them out in the trash where they belonged. And it's like all the curse, all the lack, everything left. And then y'all started teaching us laws, and you fall into it. Yes, they can have it. Any celebrity or a celebrated slave, I hate that name. It's a celebrated slave is what it is. You can break those chains off, just like we did. You call out his name and say, save me. I made a big fucking mistake. Just like that girl on the video on my Facebook said that I posted, and she's desperate to get out. She was tricked into things. And like one of them on there even said that the relationships that you see are illusions too. For you to think, oh, they have the best fucking relationship. I don't have anybody. Well, because you're a Christian like they are, but let's jump over that. She said they were all by contract. They were illusions set up for a public display. Are you starting to click this fucking shit? And your government's the same way. That's what Babylon is. That's crazy, isn't it? You think they're married and, boy, they're just having fucking kids. They look as happy as fuck, and you're just like, I used to feel like that in my younger years, but when y'all started, he's never had me like that. But I had friends that I would talk to, and they would be like, oh, they just have they go through a lot of bullshit to get that life. So it really wasn't a thing, but I saw where my friends were coming from too. That's why I don't know nothing about them. It's not anything that y'all just let me have a desire to go in there and do what. I just knew there was something wrong with it. And now I know why. Because he was guiding me and leading me and saying, look at it, but don't touch it. I want you to hold it. Understand it. So that, you see, we survive things in this life so that we can come back and save someone that's dying in it. And that's exactly what this is, isn't it? It's like everything that they put on that was Yahuwah. Like, let me tell you this. Look, this is going to blow your mind. Thank you, Father. That's so wonderful. Yes. Listen to this. So, we know that, and I think I got off track, but thank you for bringing me back, Father. Remember I said they were fishers of men, and they were caught in nets. But listen to this. They took the fish, and they defiled it for what it really meant, what it symbolized to Yahuwah and to the people. Swallow this. We are the fish who represent the fish. And the ocean or the water represents the world. What is the world in ancient Hebrew? It's the heathen world. All these false religions, Gog, and all this bullshit you see that y'all is destroying right now and exposing it. And the fish are caught up in that ocean. You understand? That they got to be in the water. They were born in it. Okay? But I told you about my dream. Listen to this. In ancient Hebrew, the fish is us. The water is all this bullshit out here that you're seeing with your eyes. Full force today. False religions, is Christianity, the murders, the sacrifices, all of it. The government, everything, all of it comes from false religion. And then you got the bank. Well, what does the bank represent? In my dream, the fish were coming up in my arms, and I was just taking them to the bank and laying them down. They were dead when I took them out. They died. Remember? And then when I laid them on the bank, they took a breath and began to breathe. And I heard y'all say, "Go back in the water." And so I brought them all up in there, laid them on the bank, brought them to Yahuwah, where they lived. Why? Because all that false fucking bullshit comes up out of you, your temple. Y'all's not going to rest with a false god, a dead one either. Not statues or anything. He's not coming up in there. That's why they created the Holy Ghost. What is a Holy Ghost? In ancient Hebrew, it means a dark entity. So they had to hurry up and get that in you as a child so that y'all couldn't take up in there. But y'all already had his chosen. Yeah, we were asleep over there, but he wrote that law on our heart. He was his program so that when in our season, when it was time for us to wake up, we would take to it. And that, we would understand why we never took to it. So you come to the bank, which is Yahuwah, and you get filled with his spirit, like our temple was for his spirit. And that's who you have leading and guiding you, protecting you, teaching you. These are the last days I'm going to teach my own. You see? See the trickery? How they had to get something put up in you so that y'all wouldn't rest in you, because he's not going to rest with a false God, just like he's not going to break his own laws. As much as Yahuwah wanted to save Takeoff, he couldn't. Because Takeoff had made his choice, and it was Edom. It was Rome and everything that comes with it. And the way that they go about getting things that they want, like that necklace. What the fuck? He's not going to come out of his laws. He said, I'm the same in ancient days, yesterday, and today. I'm not coming out my laws. He's a real king. So if you break them, I can't save you out of it. Because you chose it. Your free will. That's how Kanye West knew that what our people did. He came out of these laws. He's never said a word about him, never spoke his name, never rapped about him, never said never, anything. And so they're using them as weapons to push this religion like they're trying to push it in other countries, like they pushed it to us because we came out of the laws. It was a punishment. Anybody can come out of that. Y'all said it. And you better. It's amazing stuff, isn't it? You sit and just think about. And like when I think about in that video, there was like this web. Takeoff was standing there at the door. And like that girl was trying to warn him. And behind him is like, I saw the skull and bones, but what caught me was the web with the spider in it. Because I told you in the beginning that this is a Fowler snare with these celebrities coming out here saying, I don't know the way it comes, you better get the fuck away from me. No, you don't, as you can see. It's just, he was caught in a web, and y'all cannot save him until they say, I give it to you. Please, come get me out of here, save me, please, save me, like that girl was on my Facebook. You have to call his name. Those that call my name last days, I will save you. It's like they took that story and they took it to themselves. Like, he'll save you. JC ain't gonna save shit. He ain't saving shit, and he's not gonna. They stole it from Yahuwah, so you couldn't be saved, and they put it on an idol. And they were the ones that raised the abomination that causes desolation that you're experiencing over there. I don't give a damn if you're a celebrity slave. See, that's why, listen, y'all, thank you so much. See, that's why they can't own their own rights. They can't own their own music, because when you sign into that shit, we know the shit, the rituals they do. Well, if the demons are giving you your rap and your rhyme, it never belonged to you. Like your girl said, I just couldn't do that stuff, but she just does it better. And that's the way they look at it. They introduced you to it. Now you got a demon up inside of you. Or they made a call to the Holy Ghost. Shit. And he's writing, giving them their rhymes, and they're just writing on paper whatever he says, and they come out and they busted shit. That's why they can't have any of the rights on it, because they did not write it. A demon gave it to them. And that is who's operating their craft now. Because now it's no longer a gift or a talent, it's a craft. Do you get it? That's straight fucking witchcraft. So they kill them, saying you're not going to get that shit because you didn't do it. A spirit, a dark entity that you let in gave it to you. You don't own shit. You are a celebrated slave. And when we get done celebrating you, we'll either throw you to the curb and watch you kick yourself and kill yourself with all the demons you got around you, do drugs, and then suddenly die, or be fucking sacrificed. But you chose it. You chose it. You see what I'm saying? It's amazing stuff. And if you're getting this, Yahuwah is trying to save you. He's just trying to save you. He's making you look at where you're at. And when you come out of the shock of it, you're looking at this stuff full force. He'll start building you back up, like he said. I'll clean you off. I will, and nothing will ever touch you again. And I'll be your Elohim. I'll give you clothes. You know, he's a wonderful Father. He's a wonderful Elohim. But I just know him as Father. And I said, I've been telling you, I told you since I came out a few years ago, that I know his compassion. And like it says in Psalms, that if you have a pure heart, who has a pure heart? Psalms 91. I don't care what kind of hell you're in. This is the Savior you need. Because he will crush the teeth out of your enemy's mouth. And these witches out here don't fear nothing but him. They told you that. That's why they're building holes to go down in the ground. To be judged by all this shit. And what they've done. And what's coming full force. And right, like it's coming right up in your face. Like y'all just pulled the veil down and said, I want you to look at this and make your own damn decision. But you're going to look at it. And you're going to swallow it. You see what I'm saying? That's why you're seeing this stuff in the rap world. Ain't no fucking East Coast, West Coast war. It ain't no rap war. That's the fucking illusion that lets them get away with a blood sacrifice. Or a friendly fire. I don't give a fuck what it was. And you fucked it up, and now you're paying for it. You're going to watch y'all destroy them. Just destroy them. And then I'm telling you, the spirits that they conjured, they are already destroying them. And then imagine him having to come face with coming into the reality that he really did love this boy, and now he's gone. And being tormented with a demon that looks like him, that's just how this shit rolls, I'm telling you. You don't believe me, you better get in our books. But you have to believe me because you're looking at it for yourself. How can you not sit there and say, well, I don't believe a damn word you're saying? How could you not say that? Because you're looking at this shit with your own fucking eyes. I'm just breaking down your side of it so that you can put it with the reality the brothers are breaking down for you out there with the evidence of what happened. You see what I'm saying? And what caused it and why they're paying for it. That's amazing stuff. I just love it. It's amazing. And to watch him do it is even more amazing. So, let me look at this and make sure that I got you everything. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yep, we covered everything. I got you. Thank you, Father. I know that was you. There's a lot to remember. So, I hope this helped you out, and I hope that the one that left this message for me, I told her that I was going to put it in a video. I was so astounded by it, and yes, they can call on his name. It's pretty much you just have to choose between their God that they're offering you or the real one that can get you out of there, and he will provide safety for you. Oh yes, Father. Let me tell you this before we go, and this is proof of it. I don't care where you are, he can keep you safe there. Right in the middle of the devil's camp. Listen. And it's in the book of Daniel, when we went into bondage, our people went into bondage because they were there was idolatry going through all of our land and even in the temple. And when we were going through bondage, Yah told them that when you get into this city in Babylon, he said, stay to my laws. And if you do, I will put an angel on you that will preserve your life until you get to be free again. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. That's why Daniel wouldn't eat none of the food that they offered him. And that's the way it is today. I don't care where you are. You can be sitting in the middle of fucking hell. It is not hot enough for Yah not to reach his hand down in there and pull you out. Because he's the one that put you there in the first place because you wanted to follow that shit. Isn't that amazing? So it's so good to know the very one that is not only Elohim over everything, but he can also pull you out of the mess and the fire that you've gotten yourself into. Yes. And y'all said you just really have a choice to make. And like he said in Psalms 18, I didn't send you no innocent man's blood for you. I'm not in that. And it's an abomination to me. And I will curse you with it. And Yasharel, whose ways are twisted? Yours or mine? That thinks that I would go that way. Well, it would be yours if you think that shit's for real. And it couldn't even save him. When all the wolves that he hung out with came in, took his life. And his blood was spilled for the very false fucking God that he put those hand gestures up to, the horns. It's just, it's absolutely mind-boggling, and it's such a fucking waste. But it's just, our people die for lack of knowledge. And like once they get in there, they sign these contracts like she said, and they pin you in. That's what it was designed for. Yah created it. And I know it's not easy to look at. Some of the things that I've had to look at, that y'all had to show me and teach me about that bullshit out there, I'm gonna tell you what, it would have me sobbing, but he comforted me from it, and he relieved that, he took that off of me where I didn't feel that empathy and that sorrow over it, and he helped me to see, you know, what was gonna come out of it. That this is gonna be over, and you're watching me do it just like I told you to. Everybody's watching him do it. Nobody's gonna get the credit for this but Yahuwah, because he's the one who created it all. Ain't nobody getting the credit or the glory but my Father, my Elohim, Yahuwah. Because he's the one that said he was going to do it centuries ago, ancient days ago, and now you're watching that shit pass. Who's he doing it for? His people, his jewels, the apple of his eye, sitting right here in fucking Babylon. Fucking Babylon. But what an honor and what a beautiful thing it is to know the truth about what's really going on, and that you can get out of it, and that you have an Elohim that's real, that'll bust that shit in its head if it even thinks on touching you after that. After you confess that with your mouth, you belong to him. That's where your power is. Wow, what a secret to keep hidden. You know what I'm saying? And he's beautiful. He's more beautiful than that thing over there could ever be. And he's powerful. And all power lays in his hand. He raises kings and he lowers that ass down. Ain't nobody does it but Yahuwah. And these days, everything is going according to his plan. Nothing but. What's his plan? He wrote it down in our books. And I'm telling you what it is. Everything about this is just falling, falling, falling. And the whole system that supports it. You know what I'm saying? So, I took you in there safely. And now I'm walking you out. And you see it the way Yah sees it. You understand it with his wisdom and his knowledge. And you apply it to your life. And when this stuff starts, when they try to pull this shit on you again, with like, I don't, listen, They do so much. You'll see the signs, and if you call out his name and say, Yah, I choose you, please be my Elohim, come into my heart, come into this temple, lead and guide me, and he will. That's what the Pinot land is. You'll hear his voice. He'll lead you to safety, and he will put a guard on you. He will be your hedge and your bulwark against that. You'd be like, well, they can sacrifice. Not once you belong to Yahuwah, they better think fucking twice about it. And they know the rules too. Edom knows the rules. They just didn't follow them. But who are they to stand up against our Elohim? Who can even stand next to him and be compared to him? They know they can't, because they're fucking digging holes to go down in, to hide themselves from his judgment. You see what I'm saying? All you gotta do is separate yourself and get the fuck out of it. And he's telling you, come out of Rome. It's this way. Because I'm destroying it. I'm making you look at it. And you love this shit? If you're crying for me to get you out of there, come this way. And he'll save anybody. So yes, the celebrities can be saved. The celebrated slaves, whenever they call his name, cast out what was put in him by them and what he called in himself, and take Yah as his Elohim and go to him first, talk to him. I'm sorry for it all. I didn't know what it was, but you said that you could deliver me from it, and I really believe I could love you. Who wouldn't love him if he came in there and got you out of that shit? And we don't even have knowledge of how really bad it is for them, because it's hidden. It's only now that y'all's bringing this shit out and what they've been through. So I hope this blessed you. I hope I really, with all my heart, that I broke it down the best way to where you can understand what was going on, and use it for the day, for the rest of this, while it's standing, until he tears it down. Stay the fuck away from it. Don't donate to it. Don't buy and sell to it. Don't support their shit. You'll shut that industry right the fuck down, because they need you. And really, you need Yahuwah, and you're not going to support witchcraft. Y'all said as long as you follow, they can't. I'm the one sending them on you because you're serving it. I'm certainly one that can call it up off you. You see? It's so easy. And they just clouded it and lied and threw. It's like finding truth in like this huge pile of shit and lies. And once you find it, and Yah's, you don't have to go through what people way back in Rome had to go through to get the law. I mean, to even be able to read a Bible, because it was the higher ups, the preachers and all them, the Pope and all them, the king, they were the only ones going to have that. And you just have to listen to what they say. Well, that bullshit's fucking over there. It's over here too. No, because y'all's waiting. This is the Great Awakening, and it's an amazing thing. So I'm going to get out of here, and I pray that this blessed you. I pray that you apply it, and I don't care what, even if you're not a celebrity, I just told you, you can call his name. You can call his name, and he said, and I'll save you. I will keep you safe. When nobody else has compassion for you, I'll have compassion for you. I'll provide your every freaking need. Don't worry about it. Just follow my laws and be my child. So my head is bowed to all the princes of Yasharel. And I thank you so much for your messages, for your support. And like, when I come on here, this is my flock. This is what y'all gave me. I didn't, say, get in there. Get in there. Hit that subscription. So I just feel like you're the ones that he gave me, like from in the beginning of my videos. And so I give you everything that he says, and I bring you comfort. I hope I bring you comfort. I know I'm kind of rough sometimes. I'm passionate about him. And now you know why. So again, my head is bowed to all the princes of Yasharel and to the mighty house of Yasharel as a whole. Come this way. I know the way home. Until the next time. Shalom.